you start to rap. You know what I'm saying? You're rapping, things are going good. And how do you actually meet Tupac?
You know, I met Pac from Gaddafi, who was a member of the Outlaws. Gaddafi was from a neighborhood called Montclair, which considered like the suburbs. It was like a nice neighborhood from where I'm from. So his mother would take me from my neighborhood, take me to Montclair, and I just fell in love with it. You know, she was a very good person, and you know, spending time with me, let me spend time with her son. Years went past, I haven't ran into him. I haven't seen him in years. And about this time, I'm 13, 14 years old, and I asked his mother, you know, what's up with him? And she like, man, you know, he's doing this. He's actually with his half brother by the name of 2pac Shakur. And I was like, yeah, I'm also trying to rap. And she was like, well, if you serious, you know, she took me over to New York. I think the first time I hopped on a train or the second time or whatever, but she's the one who took me to New York to meet Pac. And I got back in contact with Gaddafi, and from that day it was on, you know. Pac wanted to put a rap group together. Even though at the beginning, a lot of people don't know, I wanted to be a solo artist. You know, so when Pac used to come to us and say, you know, Moo, you know, the first time we ever did a song together, we did a song called Killing Fields. And it was Gaddafi, Edie, Castro. It was these three who was a group. At that particular time, they was called Young Thugs. And I came and did a song with them. And when Pac heard it, we played it to him over the phone. We was in Atlanta, he was in New York. We played it to him over the phone, and he was like, man, that's it. That's what I was looking for. You guys sound like a group together. And I'm putting you in the group. And I remember I was mad. Like, damn, I don't want to be in a group with these dudes. Like, I came around to be solo. But then the chemistry was just so dope that it just worked out. So we went from Young Thugs, then we called ourselves Dramacidal. Pac gave us the name Dramacidal, eventually Outlaws.
Who all was in the group at the beginning?
At the beginning, it was just me, Gaddafi, Edie, and Castro. You know, when Pac signed to Death Row, when Pac was locked up, Gaddafi brought over his homie Fatal. Fatal was from his hood. And Pac heard him spit while he was in prison. He said, I want him in the group. And then eventually we came to LA. Young Noble was from their neighborhood too, but he was living in San Bernardino at this particular time. So he was coming through the house. And one day Pac heard him spit and put him in a booth. And then he met Storm, you know, the female rapper Storm. So he would just add it on as we go, you know what I mean?
Speaking of Storm, nobody hears from her. She doesn't do any interviews. She doesn't do anything.
Storm, I think she laid back. She's married now, raised her kids, you know. She don't really do interviews. I know that, but she's around. I speak to her every once in a while. She's doing good. She's doing good.
Okay. I know somebody would love to get an interview from her.
I would tell her, man, maybe she'll make it happen.
That would be crazy, bro. That would be crazy. So you meet Tupac. Do you know what year this was?
I would say 94. I think the first time
93,
94. I would say 93, 94 is the time I started hanging out with him.
So was he shooting movies at the time? Or what all was he doing at the time?
When I first met him, I believe he was shooting that movie with Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke, it was...
Is that Above the Rim?
Not Above the Rim. He just finished Above the Rim, because I remember he was removing that cut from his face. But Mickey Rourke and him did a movie called Bullet, I believe. It didn't blow up. So, because I used to go to the set. They was filming in New York, so some nights I'd go over there and chill on the set with him, you know? So I believe that was 93.
What was that like?
It was dope because it was my first time ever being on a movie set. And I remember they made this, they had it raining. So that was the first time that I seen fake rain. I said, so this how they do it in the movies, you know?
Was there a Thug Life album out? Were you part of that?
I wasn't part of the album, but when I first came, he was working on, I believe one of the first times I met him, I remember going back to New York, he was promoting the Thug Life album. This is when they had the
Yo MTV Raps?
Not Yo MTV Rap, Jukebox.
Okay.
So they was
the
box. So they was doing the box, and I went from New York with him. Went from Jersey to New York, and that's when he had Big Syke, Rated R. You know, shout out to them. Rated R, you know, he's in prison. I spoke to him not too while ago. Rated R, Macadocious, and Mopreme. You know, Big Syke passed away. You know.
Okay. I don't know if you know about this, but did they have problems getting a record deal at the time?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know, they was wild though. It wasn't really too many people that wanted to sign them. That's how they actually lost their record deal with Interscope because of gang politics. You know what I mean? You know, and that's probably why Pac at the end you didn't really see him around Macadocious and Rated R, even though he loved them, he respected them, but because he was more closer to Big Syke. And Rated R was a hothead back then. Like that dude was crazy. Rated R. And Rated R and Macadocious was from Rolling 40 Crips. and they got into it in the middle of Interscope in front of all the execs, and start in Big Syke is from Inglewood gang, IVC, and they started banging on each other, and Rated R called all his homies up to the Interscope records and wanted to fight Big Syke. Kept saying, let's come outside and fight it head on, but Big Syke, of course, he was outnumbered, so he knew what comes with it, and that's how they lost their record deal. After that, Interscope didn't want to do nothing with them because they was ready to fight. They was putting gloves on, you know what I mean, in the middle of Interscope records. So it kind of messed everything up for them. And after that, I think they had potential, but because of that, no record label wants to deal with that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that. I don't think anybody really knows about
people
that.
don't really know about that. You know, Rated R, my man. He's you know, they gave him. I believe they try to give him life in prison. I hope, you know, for self-defense. I hope that, you know, for those who watching, look into his case, because we hope to shed some light on his case. It was like a self-defense at his house. Somebody tried to harm him, and we hope that he can get some support. But he's doing good now. It's very positive.
Yeah, definitely, man. Has he been down a long time?
He's been down. I believe so. I believe about at least 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But I spoke to him a couple months ago. He's trying to, you know, he's patient now. He's being positive, you know what I mean? But he just hoped that he can get some justification, because somebody came to his house and tried to harm him at his house, and he pulled a gun to defend himself. But they still locked him up because of some laws. He had some previous cases. You know what I mean? So unfortunate, you know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's messed up, man. That happened in Cali, I take it, right?
It happened in LA.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I mean? So that's LA have these laws where,
it's like damn near against the law to protect yourself.
At your house, you should be able to defend yourself and protect yourself. You know what I mean?